If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. Make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the live broadcast. Don't wait to be great. I am your host, Mr. Derek Forson, and I'm super excited, just like we are every Monday. So we are live on a lot of different channels right now. So nevertheless, wherever you're joining from, I advise you come over to YouTube, where you also can see the visual of everything that we're doing. So welcome to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Welcome to my folks over there on Clubhouse, wherever you guys may be joining from. But definitely come on over to YouTube so that you can kind of also see any visuals that we'll be talking about. So tonight we're talking about redirect for 2025. Like, how can we redirect some things to get more so into the ILF space or the real estate space where we're doing this shared housing. So anyways, if you're new to us, we got a free gift that we always love to give our new people just by texting the word new to 407-326-0086. Again, if you text the word new to 407-326-0086, we got a free gift that we want to give you. And again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, this is the right place to be. Again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, make sure that you're joining us over here on our YouTube channel at Forston Consultants, because that's where you also can see the visual. Everywhere else, you probably guys are just going to be able to hear me. But if you want to see the visual of where we are and what we're doing, make sure you join us on YouTube at Forston Consultants. And again, tonight, we're going to talk about a few things. I won't keep y'all super long, but there's also 7 things that I want to leave you guys with tonight that we'll also talk about. So just in case we got anybody that's new to us, my name is Derek Forston. I think I got my camera on now. So my name is Derek Forston, and I represent Forston Consultants. And that's just simply a company where my family, we go all over the world showing people how to do this shared housing concept. So again, we take usually your idea from idea to implementation. So again, a lot of people want to know how to do this model that we do, but they just can't figure it out, or they didn't know that this even existed. And again, tonight, I'm going to give y'all 7 things to leave with today that per se may not be a 1, 2, 3, do this, but it's 7 things that I kind of taken from the Bible in terms of Noah's Ark. In terms of what happened about that story, I turned that into some real world advice today that I'm going to give you guys. So it's going to be 7 different clues. So if you're somebody that takes notes and you write things down, make sure you do that. And again, welcome. We super appreciate it. I also represent Second Chance Housing. So I'm not just somebody that only talks about this game, right? I also do it. So I'm a coach that teaches it, but I also do it. So I represent Second Chance Housing, and that's my personal independent living facility where we take people from homeless to hopeful. And I do that primarily housing elderly adult men. Now, I do got some younger guys and things of that nature, but what my community calls for, and which is what I teach you guys, kind of pick and choose and house what the community is dictating to you, that what the need is. So where I live at, my community dictates the elderly adult, the military veteran, right? So go ahead and put in the chat, what is something that you're thinking about, or if you're doing it already, what population are you serving? So I'm going to put in the chat, military veteran. And I'm also going to put the elderly adult, because I get a lot of those. And quite frankly, y'all, I'll admit, those are my 2 favorite, right? And for a lot of different reasons, right? And I often coach and explain to people, no matter what you do, if you're trying to do this, you need to cater to also your lifestyle. So it's 2 ways that I teach this. 1, let your lifestyle dictate kind of who you house, but also let the community dictate about what the need is. And what do I mean by when I say like lifestyle? That means that if you got 3 jobs, you own 3 businesses, you got kids and a family, that means you busy. You like most of us, right? We got a lot going on. But maybe that also means that you can't house the teenager ager from the foster care system. even though they're adults at that point, they need a lot of attention, a lot of care, a lot of aftercare, a lot of advice, and things of that nature. So again, go ahead and put in the chat, again, what population are you looking to serve, or what are you already seeing in your community? Because y'all, I'll admit, I just got lucky. Because one thing I also know of, y'all, I'm also good at telling you guys of what I'm not good at. And that's what you guys also need to do in terms of when you're choosing population. And that's one of the questions that came in tonight. Like, what are you good at? What are you not good at? What is your heart normally being tugged to? And I'll admit, that younger crew, y'all, that's just simply not my ministry. That is not my cup of tea, and that's not what I'm good at. But lucky for me, neither that's what my community is calling for. In my community, the elderly adult and the military veteran, they suffering. So, Mr. Raymond, like, that's kind of what I like. That's who likes me. And that's the need of my community. So I house a lot of military ex-veterans. That could be Army, that could be Navy. I got some Air Force guys. I got some Marine guys. And some of them are all in the same house. So they're always joking about which one came from the best branch, right? And also that elderly adult, Miss Edwards. Now, I'll admit again, because of my lifestyle today, I'm very busy. I got a lot going on, right? I own a lot of businesses. I help a lot of people. I do a lot of coaching. I'm involved in my community. So again, the elderly adult, the reason why I like them, Miss Edwards, they don't require nothing from me usually. They just need a roof over their head, right? And they want a quiet place to live usually. They really don't need a lot of attention like some of these other populations that we're talking about. And again, today, in case if you're new to us, we're just simply talking about a shared living environment that me and my family, we trademarked. It's called independent living facilities. And that is just simply an environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. And like I said, I used to be a social worker, right? Praying and begging God to get in something like this. So again, if you guys want the beginning story of all of this and the teaching more of in a chronological order, you guys just need to text the phrase "more info." And you can text that to 407-326-0086. And I'm going to put that across the screen. I'm going to scroll it at the bottom. If you just text the phrase "more info" to that phone number, 407-326-0086, that'll give you our introductory webinar. But it'll also give you a call with me and my team to talk about how can we make you the superstar of your city? How can you be the answer to affordable housing in your city? And what's pretty cool about this doesn't require a license. You don't have to own the property, and there's no state oversight. There's no hiring a staff. And here is me, is that poor social worker, right? 7-8 years ago, I'm begging God to change my life, begging God to get me into real estate. And dumb in me, God gave me everything I ever asked him for through that job, really, right? So again, as a social worker, Miss Edwards, I had no clue that I can go and do this in a 1-story, a 2-story, a 3-story. I can go and buy 8 apartment complex building and control the whole building and do this population. But just to answer your question, 1-story, 2-story, I have both. And if you're new to us, and I think you are, I'm gonna show you pictures of mine today. Right? So the point is, it starts somewhere. Sometimes, Miss Edwards, people see these real big houses that I have, and I got some monsters. But also the smallest ILF to date is a 1-bed, 1-bath. So it could be a 2-bed, it could be a 3-bed, it can be a 4-bed, and that 4-bed model is my favorite. What you're seeing on screen right now is what God allowed me to see many years ago, which was a lady that was making $41,000 a month doing this model right here. I'm telling y'all today. The only difference between us and that lady, y'all, she mistreated people. She housed people in rats and roaches. She had the beds on the floor. Can y'all see that burnt up kitchen? That's not some place that I bought that I'm rehabbing, because we do a lot of that too. But we teach y'all how to rent and lease properties to do this. You don't have to buy it. God allowed me to see a lady, y'all, that was living my dream. Miss Edwards, do you hear what I'm telling you? 41 grand a month. Can you imagine 41 grand a month going into your account every 30 days? Put a number 7 in the chat if you made 41 grand a month. Would that change your life a little bit? Put a number 7 in the chat if that'll change your life. Because I know me as that poor social worker making $28,000 a year, I was begging God to get into this. And nobody wanted to teach it to me. I saw a lady sleeping in front of the kitchen stove, y'all, paying $750 to sleep in that place. And me, the social worker, I sent her there. But because I didn't know it, Miss Edwards, I was a social worker just sitting behind the desk. And look at some of the conditions that these people are housed these folks in. And I always jokingly say that if you ain't got your glasses on tonight, those are cinder blocks that is holding that guy's bed up. And the other bed is on the dadgum floor. Guys, we ain't doing this, helping God's people, especially making this kind of money. How can you make 41 grand a month? Mr. Raymond, would you feel good about yourself making 41 bands a month and you got people sleeping on cinder blocks? The devil is a liar. Because one thing that y'all gonna hear about me today, especially if you're new to us, I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm surely no bishop. But we love God and we love people and we love real estate. And God is genius enough, not me, not Derek. Watch me not take credit, because I'm real good at that too. Because I promise God, I say, God, if you do this for me, I'll never take credit. I'll tell people that it's you and that you use me as the vessel to do it through. And I'll be different from everybody else. And I'll go around the world teaching it. So that's my whole life, y'all. I teach this. So I'm no genius. I just saw something that was real bad. And we just put our twist on it. Because one thing about me and the way my makeup is, guys, I don't need a lot of excuses. I don't need a lot of explanation. When you show me opportunity where I can please God, help people, be respected by my community, and make enough money to feed my family, let's go. So if you're new to us, that's what we stand for. And that's what I want one of your mantras to be. That's what I want one of your beliefs to be. Please God. And if somebody can help me and type this in the chat, because I say this 1,000 times, it's on the t-shirt now. I want you guys to please God, help people, be respected by your community, but also make enough money to feed your family. Because I'm not asking you guys to do this for free. This is called a shared living environment where everybody pays rent. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So for the Tinsley family, and you guys asked that, and also the Edwards family, can I do this in a 1-story or a 2-story? Well, here's a 1-story that we completely rehabbed. And this is what the inside's supposed to look like. Not with rats and roaches running through the cabinets. Guys, I couldn't believe that when that lady saw me. And watch this, y'all, because the Tinsley family, you think that that lady just told me that? She took her phone out and showed me. She said, Derek, look at what I make doing this. And guys, it blew my mind in terms of like, I was like, wow, this girl won't teach me, but she showed me what she making, but she doing it in rats and roaches. Because y'all, I'll admit, she never knew I went to her place. I snuck and did that. I did that many years ago for all of y'all that's watching me today. The reason why I got a business and that I teach this today for the last 8 years is because I took it upon myself one day to say, man, you know what? I'm no longer going to be the social worker doing this. I'm about to go find out how to do it because nobody wants to give me a starting point. Nobody want to help me. So let me just go and see you at least what the place looked like. And y'all, that's when I saw the rats and the roaches and the filth and the grime. And this today is what we turned it into now. So again, like one more time for anybody that missed it in the chat. Please God, help people, be respected by your community, and make a bunch of money doing it. Because the last part is really that saying that I want you to make enough money to feed your family. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. So how genius is God to show us a need that in the Bible it says, not Derek, that the poor and the needy will always be among you. And that we're to take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. God, this is biblical type stuff. That's what makes this so genius. You're doing God's will and being paid for it. How genius is it that you can do the will of God, take care of your community, but also be paid for it and compensated for your time? Lord have mercy. That's why this is so powerful. And that's why I promised God that when he showed me this through somebody else that was doing it the wrong way, I say, God, if you let me get in this. And I always jokingly say this, Miss Edwards, who am I to give God some kind of ultimatum if you let me? But guys, I'm just honest like that. I'm so transparent. I say, God, if you let me get into this, I'll go all over the world teaching it. And God, I'll never take any credit. I'll tell people that I barely graduated high school. My wife tricked me to go to college. Through the grace of God, I finished that. and got a social work degree with God. You showed me a lady that was living my dream, making 41 grand a month, housing people in rats and roaches. I said, God, I had nothing to do with none of that. You put the desire in my heart to help people. You put the desire in my heart to love real estate. And God, you genius enough to make me mesh it all together. So that's why I tell people, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, and you got some patience, man, this is genius. Show me something that's better than this other than going to start your own church. And trust me, I'm not a pastor and I'm no priest and I'm no bishop. But the poor will always be among us. And if we can and if we can create a shared living environment that will allow us to be the hands and feet of Jesus in our city, why not? Right? So why not? And again, if you just joined us, no license, you don't have to own the property because the people that we're serving are completely independent. And tonight I got 7 different things that I want to leave you guys with, right? And it's going to derive from a biblical story. But I'm going to turn it into real world life advice today. So if you got questions or concerns, and I'm just on my intro, and I promise not to be here long. Every time I say that, I still end up here 2 hours. I'm going to try not to do that tonight. But if you got questions or concerns about what this is, how to get started, let us know. For my new families that are here, you guys already asked me certain things, so I'm going to just show you now so that you don't have to wait. This is that private room that you and I was talking about, Tinsley family. When you guys say, well, Derek, what if they don't want to share a room and those 2 people per room? No problem. I got a shared suite and I got a private room. So there's essentially, Tinsley family, 3 different housing models within this one. This, what you're looking at right now, is called my private suite. This right here is called the private room. The suite's got the bathroom in it. Every other room in this house, people got to share the hallway bathroom. That's why it's called a shared living environment. We share the refrigerator. We share the stove. We share the pantry. We share the room unless you got a private room. So again, shared environment or you got that private room. Make sense, everybody. So again, if you got any questions about that, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come right back. If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. Make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right, we are back. We are back at again. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Y'all got a ton of choices of where you could be, but y'all chose to be here, and we super appreciate that. So I'm just sending out a text right now to the ILF Academy. They was asking about this. We are live. Also, if you haven't joined the ILF Academy, make sure you do that as well. That's a free Facebook group that we have. So we continue to do teachings and trainings in there. And every now and again, if I have a room that I ever erase or delete, I typically also put that in the ILF Academy. Prime example, the room that we had, I think it was last Monday or last Saturday, that room was so good and so juicy, I deleted it from the normal YouTube channel. So only my private communities get that kind of stuff, because that just means that I probably went super deep and I went too deep and probably got in trouble by my team. So we just make sure that our private communities get that stuff. But again, any questions or any concerns of how we do this or what is it? How in the world can we do this without a license? Let us know. But just remember again, before I get ready to go into these 7 tips, is that these are called independent living facilities. You don't have to buy the property. You can rent it or lease it. And again, this is like, it's kind of similar to a group home or an ALF, but without the license and without the state oversight. So you don't need permission from your state to do this. If you got a heart for people, you got patience, and you love God, and if you love real estate, that's just the icing on the cake. So again, if you love real estate and you always wanted to get in the game, this is one of the ways, to me, one of the easiest ways to get into real estate without having to go out and have a $30,000 deposit to buy a house. You can go out and rent one and rent by the room or by the bed. So I got people that I teach this model to, y'all, to where they'll get the 4-bed, 2-bath, and they'll put 2 beds in each room just like this. But I also teach this to people that they'll get that same 4-bed, 2-bath, and they'll do all private rooms. Miss Tia is just like that, and she's probably on here tonight. She's always live with us. In fact, Tia, if you're here, shout me out in the chat. Katara, if you're here, shout me out in the chat, because these are 2 people that do private rooms and shared. I also do private and shared, right? And we talk about during your coaching, which is best for you, right? And by the way, I didn't say it, but welcome to the month of December. If you made it this far, congratulations to you. That means God is good to you. Some people didn't make it this far, but guys, we are in the absolute last month of December. Remember what I always tell y'all, man, don't procrastinate, right? Procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you more time for something he's already told you to do. And for a lot of us, God already told us to help people, and God has already told you that you're to create generational wealth through real estate. How genius is it that he's allowed us now, through us, to teach you how to merge all of those together? The love of God, social services, and real estate all mixed into one. That's literally what this is. You can label this whatever you want to, y'all. You can get fancy and call it a name like we did. We trademarked it, independent living facility. But guys, I don't care what you call it. Just remember that we're housing independent adults that can live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So I'm housing people that have a job at Walmart, Wendy's, right? Sonny's Barbecue, but they can't afford their own apartment. They can't afford to buy a house. And if they're not too bougie to where they don't mind this shared living environment with either 2 people per room or there's 1 person per room, they're going to probably be a good fit for my program. Does that make sense, everybody? Is anybody confused about that? Because one thing about me, I like to think that I got a good way of explaining stuff, but I'm real good about it. If you confused, you just let me know and I'll break it down. But so far, if you just joined me, I literally just told you your dream is possible because you don't have to buy the property. You can rent it or lease it. And don't forget about the HRA model, the Housing Referral Agency. We got a free 14-minute webinar on that allows you to do exactly what we do, and you don't need no property. You're just making referrals to people that have the property, and you make a referral fee. So we got all kind of ways to get into this. And again, you get those webinars by texting what you see below. Just text that phrase, more info, MOREINFO, to that phone number, 407-326-0086. They'll take your phone number and your email address and boom, immediately send you that webinar. After that, my team is going to see that you watched it, and they're going to set up a call with me so that you and I can talk about what is your questions? How can I help you get started? What kind of scholarships are available for our coaching that you can get? And if you missed the month of November, God bless you, because we did some crazy, stupid sales. And just because today's Monday, and I know a lot of people, new people join us all the time, we'll maybe even extend any sale that we had until tomorrow, especially if you're new to us. If you're new to us and you've never bumped into us and you missed any kind of November stuff, just know all of our coaching plans were half off. And then if you were to text the word scholarship, you can actually get it for under half. So we did that the whole month of November, but I'll extend that grace to anybody that's new to us up until tomorrow. So between what you hear tonight and what you see on our YouTube channel or our website, if you believe that this is what God has called you to do, if I were you, I wouldn't wait, especially if you can get our coaching under half off, right? So just follow those instructions that I just talked about, and that could be you. Other than that, I got 7 clues or 7 tips that I want to give you guys, right? So let's jump right into that. And even before I do that, I'm going to check the chat to make sure that I don't have any questions, because I don't want to skip by any questions, especially from anybody that's new. Tasha says, this is what I want to do. Perfect. I'm glad you're here, Miss Edwards. And if you can put in the chat, how did you find us? I love it to kind of know how people find us. Is it word of mouth? Is it just social media? Were you searching for something like this? Let me know in the chat. Also from Raymond, you seem new to us too. Raymond, how did you find us? And of course, any questions or any concerns, also put in the chat where you guys are located. This is a major part for our HRA people. The HRA teaches you guys how to house the homeless and the displaced without the need for a property. Watch this. Everybody put in the chat right now where you're located, especially if you have a house, right? This is where that I teach you guys how you can make a referral to Katara. You can make a referral to me. You can send me a client tomorrow and I'll pay you so fast it'll scare you. That's what the HRA is, guys, meaning that I'm going to teach you how to do the work to get your phone ringing, Mr. Raymond. But Raymond, if you don't have a house, you refer that guy to me. And we teach you all the time, forget about maybe doing this where you live at to start out as the HRA. Start in Orlando where it's a bunch of us. Most of the people that I teach this to, because that's where I live, guys, I got so many empty beds in Orlando right now for people that I just taught this to, people that are just launching. You guys can watch that 14-minute webinar tonight and begin referring people tomorrow and get paid for it. That's what the HRA is. South Carolina, lucky for you, Miss Edwards, that's where Katara is. Katara, there go your new sister. Katara is, now, unless y'all know each other, I'm finna tell you Katara whole story. Miss Edwards, are you new to us or do you know Katara? Katara, shout me out in the chat and let Miss Edwards see you. Let her know exactly where you are, sis. And she says, I have a house. Currently living in, so she's living in it. Plan on building a new and do the ILF with my current home. Love that. Love that. So perfect. So put in the chat. Now, you don't got to give me street name, but I just want to show you that we already got people. You probably can't name a state to where our coaching isn't already existing. Put the city of where you are. Now, Katara, you put your city and watch how close y'all probably are. And Katara was just like you one day, Miss Edwards. Heard about me on, I think you said, let me see. How did you find us? Did you put that in the chat? Social media. Just like Katara. Katara said, okay, let me listen to this big mouth for a couple seconds. Katara sat back and she listened. Okay, Derek sound good. Him and his family, they sound like they know what they're doing. Okay. They got the love of God in them. Okay. He's also doing it. Okay. Katara came to our conference. Katara bought our coaching. She became a part of the masterclass. Katara is actually somebody that's probably a part of everything that we've ever released. Katara's part of the MSI coaching group. Katara's a part of everything as part of except the ICC, and she didn't need that because she was already an IMB by then. And now Katara's on her second facility looking for her third. So you're no different from Katara. She's in Aiken, operating in Columbia and Case. That's Katara. Yeah, so boom, 1 hour away. So you got coaching right there in your backyard because I'm over here in Orlando. Okay? So I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Ms. Edwards, welcome to the family, right? Raymond, welcome to the family. Where is Raymond from? Michigan. No problem. Got people over there too. You found us on Eventbrite. Wow, that's interesting. That's actually a coaching moment. Watch this. That's the reason why I tell you guys all the time to put your information everywhere. I right now can't even tell you who from my team did that. But because of that, Raymond is now a part of our family and is going to know how to do shared housing because something he saw on Eventbrite that I didn't even post myself. That's how cool that is. And watch this. That was probably something that was done months ago that's on repeat now. So Raymond, I'm super excited about that. Congratulations. In fact, I'm so happy about that, Raymond. I'm going to give you a free ebook. So you get one free anyway, just by texting the word new. Anybody gets that. If you text the word new to 407-326-0086, I got a book that's entitled Don't Wait to Be Great. That's what we live by. You get that for free anyway. But Raymond, just because you found me in some auspicious way that usually isn't the top tier of how we advertise, I'm giving you something else. In fact, I'm going to give you our Purpose to Profit ebook. That's a $97 book of where I talk about how to get the property and what do we say to the landlord to rent this place? Because remember, I told you that you can rent or lease the building. So what does the conversation sound like? And I'll admit, y'all, that's where a bunch of my mistakes happened in the beginning. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was saying the wrong stuff to the wrong people. And I got hung up on a bunch of times, back to back to back. But in that book, for the first time, because for the first 6 or 7 years that we taught this, you had to get my one-on-one coaching to even to get the verbiage of what we say to a landlord. That was like top secret. Shut your mouth. Don't tell anybody. But today, not only did we write it in an ebook, we combined a live role player, me and my big brother, God bless him because he passed away last year, right? We literally did a live role play to let you hear what it sounds like between the landlord, property manager, and maybe also the case manager. So we put a book and a recording together, and that's only $97. If you text the word purpose, you guys can get that sent straight to your phone in terms of the instruction to get it. But my guy from Michigan, that's on me. In fact, text that same thing anyway. And when you do text it, Raymond, just text that I said, Derek said to give me that Purpose to Profit ebook. That's on me. And that's just because excited I am, because first of all, you're new and you found me on a place that we don't, well, me, I don't really talk about Eventbrite. Go and find me on Eventbrite. But that just also means that my team is doing their job. And if only one person find me, one person every 5 months, my team has done their job. Because I pray now that this changes your life, Mr. Raymond. I pray that we say something tonight or give you a vision or an idea that you never thought of. You never thought it was possible until you ran into us. And I appreciate that. So big shout out to you, big bro. So let me check the chat one more time before I go into my 7 things here. Let me see. Miss Edwards say, glad to be here. Glad to have you too. So let's do this. I'm going to go. There are 7 things that I want, and I got some talking points, y'all. So if you see me look down, I'm just referring to my talking points. So this talking point that I want to share with y'all tonight comes from the biblical story Noah's Ark, right? 3 of y'all raise your hand and type yes if y'all know the story Noah's Ark and kind of how that happened, right? Let me sum it up real fast of the ghetto version of me just trying to tell it. God gave this guy named Noah a vision that it was going to be a flood and it was going to take out everybody. But what was crazy about this story is that where these people lived at, you know that song, It Never Rains in Southern California? Them people not used to rain there. So it sounds dumb for you to tell somebody in Southern California to go buy an umbrella. This was a part of the region where they never heard of floods and heavy rains and things that could be dangerous. But watch this, just like the concept of this housing model, there's a lot of people that when you talk to them about your idea, they're going to think you crazy. A lot of people are going to doubt you, and a lot of naysayers are going to rise up that you never knew you had. So in the Bible, Noah was talked about. They thought he was crazy, but he kept moving forward. And he built this ark anyway. And the people that did listen, they were able to eventually be saved because they got on that boat. That's the short version. But I want to just, again, give y'all some real life stuff from that story, Noah's Ark, right? So step number 1, and I'm going to list these in steps in terms of what we need to do, reference from this biblical story. Step number 1 for me, your big brother, your coach, don't miss the boat. We talking about a boat, right? Step number 1, don't miss the boat. I'm going to say a lot of stuff, but if you miss the boat, you can't partake in what we're getting ready to do and what we're getting ready to go into. Real estate is a valuable, crazy good thing to get into when we talk about generational wealth. The year of 2025 is already predicted to be the year of glory in many different ways in your life, in your family, physically and spiritually for all of y'all, especially if you're under the sound of our voice, our family, and our coaching. That's our prayer for all of y'all anyway. So first step, don't miss the boat. Stay alert and prepare for opportunities. There's going to be a lot of opportunities unbeknownst to you right now that's going to come to you. You need to be ready for that. Also, don't procrastinate when they do present themselves. And thank you, Miss Phyllis, for typing those in because I'm going to list these out one by one. Again, don't miss the boat. And my favorite saying is that don't procrastinate. Procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you more time for something he's already told you to do. And for most of us, God has said, help people. God has said, get into real estate. How are you going to create generational wealth and build the kingdom? How can your church move on to their next destination if you don't become the millionaire in your city or the well-to-do person or the go-to person for real estate and the housing need? So step number 1, don't miss the boat. Step number 2, plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. Does that make sense, everybody? That's why it says be prepared. When God gave Noah the instruction to build the boat, y'all, it wasn't raining. They didn't hear of rain. They never heard of a flood. Some of y'all in your city, they never heard of an ILF. They never heard of a shared living environment. That's why some of y'all gonna have to be the trailblazer in your city to what this is. Does that make sense, everybody? There's a lot of people that we've taught this to, that they had to be the trailblazer and show people what this was. And I told y'all the other night, one of the greatest ways to explain it is this. The raggediest hotel, motel in your city is more expensive than what you're going to be offering. Most of us are going to be under $30 a day. I told you guys a real big gym that I only give my coaching students. Instead of telling people you $800 a month, do 800 divided by 31. That's what you are by the day. And when you break it down by the day, you surely sound better than the roach-infested motel that's 2 blocks from where you live at. Does that make sense? So again, plan ahead, because it was not raining when God gave Noah the instruction to build the boat. So that means plan ahead, because boy, when it do rain, you're going to be surely glad you did. That means build this legacy now. And some of y'all, you're not going to start this thing overnight. Start it today and it's done by Friday. Just keep building it and keep building it. Number 3, stay fit, FIT, and watch your health this year. In 2025, I personally, as your big brother and your coach, I don't want your health to be the excuse of why you can't do what God has put on your heart. So diabetes and blood pressure, gotta go. Understood? All that sugar diabetes and all those sweets and cakes, I know it was Thanksgiving, y'all, and we slipped a little bit, but let's stay in shape. Let's stay physically and spiritually sound. Some of us are not tied to a place of worship. We got to change that in 2025. Forsake not the gathering. So you got to come together with the saints every now and again, y'all. No more bedside Baptists all the time. And if you don't know what bedside Baptist is, that means that you watch it from home. That's okay, but let's go in the building this year. Let's make a vow. Don't put it in the chat. Don't raise your hand. But some of us just don't go in the building. Some of us used to. Let's get back to that, to be around good people, good covering, and good stock, as I like to call it. Stay fit, because you know what else? Oh, Noah was an old man when God called upon him. So you may not be a spring chicken today, but if God calling you at the age of 60 or 65 to do something big, you got to be ready. So let's stay physically fit, spiritually, and mentally fit. Mentally fit this year means get rid of a lot of the negative stuff, negative people. Let's leave that stuff in 2024, y'all. For a lot of us, 2024 was a son of a gun, and we can't wait to say goodbye. But a lot of that's going to also come with shedding off some of the old stuff. And behold, all things now will become new. Make sense, everybody? Number 4, don't listen to the critics. Just keep building. Like I said earlier in my intro, people thought Noah was a dadgum fool. This boy building a boat, y'all, and we never heard of water. What is water? What is a flood? What does a bunch of rain mean? Guys, they've never heard of that. But God gave instruction, which is a whole nother coaching in itself. My other coach says, move at the speed of instruction. Somebody heard us say that one time, and they changed it to move at the speed of, does anybody remember? Our saying is move at the speed of instruction. This guy came up with move at the speed of, and what was that word? Because I think it's slipping me now. He said move at the speed of revelation. So a lot of y'all for today, this is revelation to you. Some of you all on this replay, this is revelation that you can start your own housing program and not need your city permission. Some of y'all didn't know that. Some of y'all didn't know that you can start this thing that looks like a group home, but it's not, because the people that we serve are completely independent. Does that make sense now? So again, move at the speed of instruction or move at the speed of revelation. Number 5, build your future on high ground. What does that mean? Foundation. Create a strong foundation that's rooted in good coaching and faith in God. Because in this thing, that's what you need. Because first of all, God is all over this thing that we're doing. If you can't feel it right now or see it, do a quick check-in with yourself. Because we love God, We love people and we love real estate. And God is so good to us. He showed us how to merge them all together by skipping all the rigmarole and the hula hoops of your state and your city. Because if you house independent adults, the guy that can cook his own bologna sandwich, the guy that can provide his own transportation, the guy that can take his own pills without a nurse or LPN, that's who we're helping, ladies and gentlemen. And I could do that in a private suite. I could do that in a private room, or I can do it in that shared accommodation, which most people are going to be able to afford that call your phone, even though they want that private room. So again, build your future, mean this ILF, this next idea that you have, because somebody that are listening right now, maybe you don't want an ILF. Maybe you don't want this shared living environment. Maybe you always dreamt of having your own bakery shop. You always dreamt of having your own chicken stand where you fry chicken from this mobile stand and you sell it all around your city. I don't know, but build it on solid ground, which to me is great coaching and faith in God. Because if you got good coaching, people that are leading and guiding you how to do the thing that you're trying to do, and you keep faith in God, man, it's hard to fail like that. And remember, like we told you, the cheat code to any business is putting God first anyway. So if you got a business model to where you're doing God's will, that's the cheat code. That's why this business model is unbeatable, because you're doing God's will, not because you thought of this was a great idea. Even though people give me a lot of credit for this model, y'all ain't no genius. I saw somebody doing this, but they was doing it the wrong way. And when I saw 41 grand a month in that lady phone, she said, Derek, I'll never teach you how to do this, but look at what I make doing it. Lord have mercy. Miss Phyllis almost fainted to the ground when she showed me her phone at 41 grand a month, and I was making 28 grand a year. And when you will see the rats and the roaches in the place, that's the part that should break your heart. And I often tell people, if that don't break your heart, you in the wrong YouTube session. You around the wrong people. If you can sit back and watch somebody make 41 grand a month and mistreating them while doing it, you hang around the wrong people. I tell you right now, like, that is not what we stand for. Because one thing that we're gonna do, especially if we're making the money to do it, come on, guys, these are not our people. These are God's people. And one day, Miss Phyllis, we're gonna be held accountable for how we treated them. So how cool is it that you can become the hero in your city and be the answer to affordable housing? Because if you just joined us, we live by this thing right here that says we want to please God, we want to help people, we want to be respected by the community, and I want to make a bunch of money doing it. And again, don't get caught up on that last part, because the last part really says this: I want to make enough money to build the kingdom, to be able to feed my family. So that's why I'm not afraid to say I want to make a bunch of money doing this, y'all, because my mindset is not selfish. Do I want to go buy Ferraris and mansions and condos on the beach? Because if we continue to do what we do, the money gonna come anyway. There's this saying that says money follows ministry. Type that in the chat. Money follows mastery. And guess what we've done here at Forster Consultants? We have mastered the art of housing people. So if housing people and the love of God, and you generally got some patience and you generally love people and you always wanted to get into real estate, show me something else that's better than this. Because trust me, guys, I've tried a lot of stuff. I own 8 businesses right now. I'll try it. I have found nothing yet that is rewarding as being involved in real estate, doing God's will, helping people and changing the trajectory of somebody's life from a simple phone call, just from the guy that I housed just 2 weeks ago. Phone call from the woods, sleeping in a tent. As many of y'all know, it's cold all around the world now. Florida gets it a little late. It's just now getting cold here. So now some of the people that I tell y'all about all the time that will sleep outside during the summer months, when it gets cold, Miss Phyllis, guess what? They coming in now. Miss Dawson, they coming in now. Miss Edwards, I house a guy every year named Mr. Tim. Mr. Tim lives in the woods, summer, spring, fall, all of that stuff. But when the winter comes, hey, Jess, tell Derek I'm ready to come back in for about 5 months. He calls my assistant. We move him in every winter. As soon as March 15th comes and it's kind of the cold snap has broken. Now, don't be jealous, y'all, because I'm in Florida. So if you live in Ohio or Chicago and it's still cold there, When March comes, guess who's the first person to leave my place? Mr. Tim. His mindset says, I ain't giving Derek my check to live here when I can live outside. But for 5 months out of the year, he want to come on in. And I have no problem with that. Because I want to be a stepping stone for these individuals. Does that make sense, everybody? I think I'm almost done here. I'm on point number 6. And number 6, I'll admit, is probably my favorite. Watch this. I should have named number 6 with an asterisk with Katara's name in it. Number 6 says this: speed isn't always an advantage. The snail, the tortoise, and the sloth are very slow animals. They made it on that same boat with Noah as the cheetah, as the deer, and as the gazelle. Lord have mercy. 3 of y'all put a number 7 in the chat if that resonates with anything that I just said. Because Katara, to me, you're the epitome of number 6. Speed isn't always the advantage, y'all. That means that when you're building this thing, maybe you're not like the lady that I talked about that got started in 9 days from the day that we taught her on a Monday. 9 days later, she had a house with 3 clients in it. That wasn't Katara's story. And Katara, thank you for always allowing me to share that too. Because it's not shameful, it's so encouraging. Katara sat around us for a long time. Through all the master classes, all the live events, through all my coaching. And she sat back and watched a lot of people start after her and get their houses, one after another. Katara from lying called me a liar in the chat. Please tell me I'm lying if I'm lying, sister. One thing my brother always congratulated and talked about Katara, and God bless his soul because he's no longer here with us. But boy, he was always somebody that said, you know what? God gonna bless that girl, Katara. And I'm gonna tell you why. She never complains. She never make excuses. And she always congratulates other people when it's their time to lunch. Lord have mercy. Katara is the example of the sloth, of the snail, and the tortoise. We all know the story of the tortoise and the hare. Forget about the speed of it. You got to finish this thing. So one more time, number 6 out of all of these points, I'll admit is my favorite because it says speed isn't always an advantage. Katara, you didn't beat nobody in terms of getting started. But Lord have mercy, Katara, you are now at the top of your game. Housing people, referring people, and being a crutch in a good way in your community for the affordable housing need. One more time, number 6, speed isn't always an advantage. The snail, the sloth, and the tortoise was also on the boat with Noah, with the deer, the gazelle, and the cheetah. Now, if you real smart, you just heard me list the slowest animals in the animal nation and the fastest. Katara, they all made the boat. Who in here don't mind being a sloth as long as you get on the boat? Because everybody's not going to be the lady I talked about that got started in 9 days or 30 days, or all the people that I taught that got started in 60 days and quit their job. Katara, that wasn't your story. Katara, you watched a lot of people get launched before you, but Lord have mercy. He who laughs first, or however that saying go. But what I like about Katara, my brother said it, never complained, never made excuses. Katara still made the boat, ladies and gentlemen. That's the point. That girl Tanika that I talk about all the time that was taught by me on a Monday, and 9 days later, she had a dadgum house and 3 clients in it. Some of y'all couldn't dream of that, and neither could I. Me, even as the coach, didn't move that fast. It took me 2 years just to learn this thing. But through my coaching now, a lot of y'all get started real fast. But don't get it twisted about the snail and the cheetah. They both made the boat. Because remember what step number 1 was? Don't miss the boat. That means however long it takes you, first of all, don't give up. The race isn't given to the swift or the strong, but the one that endured to the end, y'all. Lord have mercy. I'm glad I made some notes tonight because this makes this flow really well. Number 7, don't forget number 6 is my favorite. Somebody put that in the chat. Number 6 is Derek's favorite because that's the one people are going to slip on. Number 7, Actually, now, if I had to rank these, number 6 and 7 are actually my 2 favorite. Watch this one, Miss Edwards. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Ark was built by amateurs and the Titanic was built by paid professionals. Lord have mercy. Somebody gonna miss that, Katara. Katara, somebody gonna miss that one. Miss Patricia, don't you miss it. Remember, guys, the ark that Noah built in the Bible, these will be people that we would call amateurs, ladies and gentlemen, that this was not their skill trade. Derek, why do you say that? Because some of y'all don't have the skill set in mental health. Some of y'all have never been in real estate. God has just told you to get into it. God has told you to help people. You just didn't know that there was a way to do it and merge them both together. One more time, really slowly. The ark was built by amateurs. Noah and his family were amateurs at this, guys. The Titanic was built by professionals. And I think we've all have seen that movie or we heard what happened to it. Guys, it sunk and killed a lot of people. That ark saved a lot of people and generations to come. And that's why all of us are here today. Does that make sense, Miss Patricia? Because sometimes when I'm talking, it feels like I'm rambling, but I'm hoping these 7 steps and these things that I talked about tonight really resonated with somebody. And I'm going to repeat them all, not in terms of going through them individually. And by all means, if you're an ILF Mastery Blueprint member, I'm actually going to send you guys this, right? So in your Telegram group tonight, I'm going to send y'all, because I literally took notes and I wrote all of this down. I'm going to give y'all my process, my thought process and my notes on this. So again, just don't forget that number 6 and 7 are probably my 2 favorite. But if you just join us, and for people that will watch this on the replay, I brought real world examples from a biblical story. And the story came from Noah's Ark and how he saved the generation of people and animals simply by following God's direction. So first of all, that's another thing that all of us need to pray for, is that God, help me be sensitive to your voice and drown out all others. In fact, somebody should type that in the chat, because my prayer for all of y'all is that even after this, that the devil don't try to come and steal this information from your memory, from your brain, or from your spirit, right? And I would like for all of y'all to move at the speed of instruction and do what God has called you to do, which is house the homeless, take care of the needy. Not Derek, y'all, but the Bible says the poor and needy, guys, will always be among you. Does that make sense, everybody? And again, we just showed y'all the way to how to do that and gave y'all 7 different ways to look at it. Step number 1 was don't miss the boat. Step number 2 was plan ahead. It wasn't raining when God told Noah to build the ark. Step number 3, stay fit physically, mentally, and spiritually. For real, physically, because it's hard to do God's will without a sane mind, the mind of Christ, and an able body. That's why I pray for y'all all the time that God heals your ailments and always give you the mind of Christ to be able to function at your highest level. Make sense? Number 4, don't listen to critics. Keep building. When you guys start doing this, people gonna call you crazy. Oh, that'll never work. Are you crazy? You can do this without a license. What fool told you that? They gonna call me all kind of names. But what I'm so proud of, that 7 years ago, it was one person in one house. Today, the coaching is in 37 different states and over 300 ILFs. Through the coaching of it. Not that I have that many. Make sense? Step 5, build your future, meaning this ILF and your business on solid high ground. What did that mean? Get good coaching, keep God first, have faith, put your hands to the plow and work it. Number 6 and 7 is my favorite. Number 6 says speed isn't always the advantage. The snail and the sloth and the tortoise are the slowest animals, but they also made the boat along with the cheetah, the deer, and the antelope, who are very fast animals. So take notice of that. No matter the speed, they still made the boat, and they didn't ignore step number 1. One thing about that snail, he listened to everything that I said, but he said, you know what? I better listen to what Derek said. And Derek just said, no matter what I do, dog, don't miss the boat. Because if we miss the boat, nothing else can even happen. But if we get on the boat, Miss Patricia, we can make things happen. We can be patient. Because a lot of things, a thing that I didn't say yet is that P word, patience. I kind of said it, but kind of didn't. This also takes patience of a saint sometime. Just like I told a story about Katara. She didn't start Monday and had a place by Friday. It was over a year and a half, over 2 years, but she never gave up. Because one thing I can guarantee you, that if you give up, this will never work. I can guarantee that. And just because 6 is my favorite, I'm going to read it again. Speed isn't always an advantage. The snail, the sloth, and the tortoise made the boat with the deer, the gazelle, and the cheetah. Boy, I love that. Persistence and patience can be just important as speed. Persistence and patience can be just as important, Katara, as speed. I would like to say that Katara forgot all about speed and said, man, you know what? I'm not that girl Derek talking about. This ain't gonna happen for me like that because I got a job, Derek. Derek, I got a family. Derek, I got a husband. Derek, I got a team. Derek, I got a virtual assistant. Derek, I got a business. In fact, Derek, I got 2 businesses and another job, Derek. Derek, and I'm involved in my community. I'm involved in my church. You guys are busy. That's what I love about the people that find us. You guys aren't lazy people, Miss Phyllis. Miss Phyllis, I don't even know you from a can of paint, but I guarantee that you're not lazy. Miss Patricia, I bet you that you're not lazy, but I bet you're busy. Raymond, you're not lazy, big bro. I don't even know you, but I can tell already. You're not lazy. You're just busy. And that's why today we use virtual assistants with everything that we do. How can I be as great as I am other than God first? The VAs, they do all our social media, all our phone calling and answering, the reaching out to social workers and case managers. I don't do that stuff anymore. Virtual assistants do that now for $100 a week through our other company, VA 101. Okay, so we talk about that every Tuesday. But back to that main point, because it's my favorite. Some of y'all are so caught up on the speed of it. Well, Derek, I've been around this 6 months now and I ain't got a house yet. Man, go talk to Katara. Don't talk to me about that. Talk to somebody that sat around this for 2.5 years before they got their start. Don't cry to me about that. I had to go through 2 years and 60 pounds of weight loss to get this thing. So don't cry to me about your 3 weeks that you ain't got started yet. And that's what I like about y'all. People that usually find us and want to do this, you guys aren't lazy. You want to do this. You want to help people. You love God. And most of y'all got patience. And that's the only requirement to get into this. And the last point that I told you guys, remember that the Ark was built by amateurs. The Titanic was built by professionals, and the Titanic sank. And in that, I'm just going to leave it at this and I'll close it. Let's all pray to be sensitive to the voice of God. Let's take great coaching and let's move at the speed of instruction. Let's move at the speed of revelation. For some of y'all today, this is revelation. You've never heard this kind of talk. If you haven't, let me know in the chat. I'd appreciate that personally, but you don't have to. I just know it because that's the way God does it. For such a time as this. Make sense, everybody? So just a quick wrap up for anybody. If you love God, love people, and love real estate, we want to show you how to mesh all 3 of those together simply by, again, using the love of God, social services, and renting or leasing real estate. Now, if you're like some of the people here that join us that already own real estate or have access to it, I'll admit right now, you're 50% further than most people I'll ever teach this to. Okay? And for the Tinsley family, you asked, can we do this in a mobile home? Absolutely. And Miss Patricia, you said never heard of this kind of talk? No worries. And what's good for you, Miss Patricia? You just joined the family. So for anybody that's new to us, you're like Miss Patricia, or will be, because Miss Patricia sat down like you guys, listen, said, you know what? I'm going to get in during this crazy November sale. And she already has a house in Houston, 5th Ward. Right? So her coaching is going to be expedited because she already has the real estate to do it in. So I always tell people that if you already have the real estate to do it in, you're 50% further than most people I'll ever teach this to, because we don't now spend 3 weeks to 3 months finding you a place. Does that make sense? Okay. So I've been doing a lot of talking. Let me get a quick drink of water. Let's get a quick word from David and Dennis. And if you've never seen these two clowns, they are an absolute blessing. David is a little bit of a knucklehead, but Dennis is very sharp and he's on it. Let's get a word from them and we'll be right back.
So Dennis, in this independent living facility model, right, which y'all call ILFs, what kind of residents can I house in this kind of model? David, that's a great question. And that's actually what makes the ILF model so great, is because it's flexible. So prime example, you can house military veterans, elderly adults, women that are escaping domestic violence, and the list goes on and on and on. So Dennis, where do you get your residents from? I see you guys on TikTok and Facebook, you guys getting all of these houses. Like, where in the world are you getting these people from? Yeah, that's actually pretty easy. Forston Consultants teaches us to use social media such as Instagram, Facebook, to let people know who we are, what we do, but probably most importantly, who do we serve? And we do that very consistently. So every day, 7 days a week, there's something being posted about what we do and who we serve, but also building relationships with social workers and case managers. Again, letting them know who we are, what we do, and most importantly with them, that we're available.
Dennis, how in the world are you able to do this without a license, bro?
David, remember the reason why we don't need a license, because remember, the clients that we serve, they're independent. So that means that they can take their own medications, they can provide their own transportation, and they can cook and provide their own food. Dennis, man, you seem to know a lot about this independent living stuff, man. How do you know so much? Well, first of all, I graduated from Forston Consultants University, and I have a master's degree in independent living facilities. And I join the Forston crew every Monday on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern. They go live, and that guy Derek, man, he give the game away. So I'm always there. So Dennis, what in the world are the requirements to get started with something like this? The only requirement for this, David, is a big heart for God, his people, and the love for real estate. That's it. And bro, don't think I ain't listening, because I am listening. But where can I find more information like this at, man? Because I really want to get started, man. David, if I were you, I'd follow Derek Forston on Facebook and TikTok, and then I'd follow Forston Consultants on everything else in terms of Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Again, really slowly, David, because you're hard-headed. I'd follow Derek Forston at Facebook on his personal page. I'd follow him on TikTok, but I will also follow Forston Consultants on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget, David. Hey, Dennis, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. I'm going to follow Forston Consultants on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. No problem, David. That's actually what I'm here for. And by the way, where did you get that hoodie? I like that. Oh, this? I got this from Second Chance Apparel. I'll put the link below. This is for aspiring entrepreneurs. And the reason why I love to support it is that every shirt or hoodie that you purchase goes back into housing the homeless.
All right. Thank y'all so much again for being here. We super appreciate it. You are tuned into the live broadcast. Don't wait to be great right here on our YouTube channel at Forston Consultants. And if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you never miss a room or an opportunity. And also make sure that you join the free ILF Academy. That's a free Facebook group where we do a lot of teaching and a lot of crazy deals and sales, and scholarships go down in there as well. And you can also ask questions, right? And also network. A lot of people are getting housing and their clients being referred to them through that. I have a lot of HRA people that are in that group. So if you have a home and you want somebody to fill your beds for you, that's called a housing referral agency or agent. And I teach those people. So it's pretty cool. If you guys ever heard of Pace Morby and how he does his community, where he has the people that do wholesaling and then those Gator people, and how he puts y'all together to work together, that's very similar to what we do. So we teach a lot of ILF type people, but I teach a lot of HRA people, and I want y'all to work together. So big shout out to Harry that just got 4 clients this week from Katara. They live in the same city in South Carolina. Harry's got a place, but really didn't get it started as fast. But who cares when you got HRA people that live in your city that's also being taught by me? They made referrals to Harry, but guess what? Katara also made a referral fee. So everybody wins with the HRA. HRA refers, that person gets a client. The person that referred gets a referral fee, and the person is no longer homeless anymore. So again, everybody wins with the HRA. So I see some stuff in the chat about the mobile home, and I'm gonna jump into that. Yes, you can do this with a mobile home. The only rule is that it can't be full of rats and roaches, because the way that we teach it, y'all, I don't care what the outside looks like in terms of what is the model. 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2-bath. Is it a house? Is it a mobile home? Is it a duplex and you got control over both sides of it, doesn't matter to us. We just want to teach you that, make sure that the inside is presentable. So again, this particular one right here looked it like this once before. But guess what? We also do. I've been in this long enough now, y'all, that I rent and lease a bunch of properties. But if God blesses you to make the kind of money that we talking about, the goal is to eventually buy a property. You should not set a goal to only rent or lease these places. You want to eventually be the go-to person that also buys these properties and puts them together, right? And also rehab it. So if you are new to us, make sure that you go to our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and look at some of the properties that we bought, rehab from ugly to pretty, and now we do this, which is the latest property, which is the one that my wife did. So a lot of you guys know that my wife has a nonprofit organization by the name of the Angela Denise Foundation. Bought a property, completely rehabbed it, right? And now on the inside, it looks brand new. And now that's for our women's facility. So as long as the mobile home looks like this when you're done, no problem. But we're absolutely not going to put people in squalor. So yes, for you all that put that in the chat about, can you do this in a mobile home? Absolutely, right? Miss Patricia said, what about a security system? Yes. So in the inside, Miss Potts, when you and I meet, we're going to talk about what kind of cameras that you should probably get for the inside and the outside. And that's for the safety of your program, yourself, and your tenants. Never in the bedrooms, Miss Patricia, only in the common areas. And another thing about the fences, no problem. I love a good fence that just kind of gives us our own boundaries. So whether it has a fence or not, I'm cool. But if it has a fence, that's just actually even better. That way we can self-contain everything else that we want. And big shout out to Qatar. She says, we referred 2 more people to Harry today. So sounds like already Harry's full already and he didn't do none of the work. Do y'all see how the HRA works now? Qatar has her own housing program. But because of somebody else who needs her help and Qatar want to make extra money, she's been a housing referral agent because Qatar phone ring every day. My coaching consists of how to get your phone ringing every day. And because Qatar listens and follows the coaching, her phone rings every day. And now that either she's full or these people don't meet her criteria, she can refer out and be a housing referral agent. See what's so cool about that? You don't even need property to do that, y'all. So the devil is a liar that you got to wait till you get a property. No, you don't. Under my coaching, you don't. You can watch my free 14-minute webinar by texting the phrase more info to the phone number scrolling below, and my team will send you that. It's 2 webinars. One is about 55 minutes long. That's the ILF. And the other one's 14 minutes long. That's the HRA. You can start doing this tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Even though the first step that I'm going to tell you is that you should turn yourself into a business. Get rid of your first and last name and start a business. Consulting, enterprise, solutions. Start some kind of business, right? But that's essentially what Katara has done. She's made referrals, made a referral fee, and she also helped out somebody else that now has a full house of people. See how that works, y'all? Jeez. Okay. Let's go to the chat. Let's see if I have any questions. Miss Phyllis said, do you offer them option care? If I'm understanding that right, Phyllis, no, we do not. Our tenants are completely independent. All we do is provide housing. Okay. Now we can make referrals for them or give them places that they can call for other additional stuff, but we focus on housing. And the reason why we do that, because we don't want a license to operate. If I start getting into insurances and all of these things and feeding people and transporting people and giving out medications, I've just created an environment where I should have a nurse, a LPN, or some oversight maybe. So we don't offer no other care outside of the 4 walls in that place and the roof over their heads. And we're known as a one-stop shop too, Phyllis. So we're going to pay the lights, the water, the cable, and the Wi-Fi. My tenants don't pay all these external bills. Make sense? So that's how that works. And for the Tinsley family, you guys asked about their purpose and profit book. Go ahead and scan that. You guys can check that out. Even when you scan it, it'll give you a brief summary of what this book is about. Make sure you do that as well so that you can read exactly what you're getting. So not only, again, are you getting just the ebook, you're also getting the role play of what it sounds like live to be talking to social workers and case managers and social service providers. Sounds good? So Miss Patricia says, have you ever accepted a couple, mother and child? No, because my model houses independent adults. I don't have the capacity to house couples or women and children because it's also not safe, right? If I'm housing, let's just say I have a 4-bed, 2-bath home, right? And I got 6 guys in there already. To me, why would I move in a mom and her 3-year-old kid? Not safe. Or mom and her 16-year-old daughter? Not safe, right? So even if the house is full of women, still, to me, that's just not safe. And to me, that's not the environment for that. So we make a referral for that person. So Miss Patricia, when your coaching starts, whenever that is, this week or next week, I'm going to talk to you a lot about you building a referral list of all the people that are going to be calling your business line that you can't help, like the pregnant lady, the married couple, the boyfriend and girlfriend that refuse to split up and want to live together, the pregnant lady with 3 kids and a husband. You really can't help those people, but really, yes, you can. And I'm going to teach you how you do that, but it won't be in your place. Make sense? So no, I've never accepted a couple or a mom and their kid. Dangerous. Okay. Are you affiliated with Second Chance Housing, as in the number 2 ND Chance? No. Affiliated with the prison? No, ma'am. Now, me, myself, I do work with the prison, but my Second Chance is actually spelled out. So that person looks like they did the number 2 ND Chance Housing, but no, that's not me. And I'm not affiliated with them or their prison ministry, but I do work closely with the prisons where I am. So the prison and the local jail system, which you also, you and I'll be talking about that as well. Okay. Great questions. I love it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Another question from the Brown family. You guys asked about this. What's the difference between a group home and a ILF? This also came from our I think that was on our Clubhouse. In fact, let me check on our Clubhouse channel. If you're listening to us on Clubhouse, make sure you join us on our YouTube channel. Let me see if I still have Clubhouse going. Let's see. I do. So actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to end Clubhouse because everybody already came over. So I'm actually going to end this now. And then I'm gonna come back over here to you guys. And let's see. All right, so here I go. So one of the big differences that I love about a group home versus an ILF, I can actually employ the people that I'm housing. You can't give the people jobs in a group home. You're supposed to be caring for them. My guys are bored and they want something to do. So a lot of my landscaping, a lot of the maintenance is actually done by my guys that I'm housing. So I often tell you guys, I pray a lot of the times that God don't only give me people to house, but also give me opportunity to give them a job, a meaning in life, something to do. Because under my coaching, I'm going to tell you this. When we keep our clients busy, we keep them out of trouble. Make sense, everybody? So I serve a population of people that if they get too bored, they'll find themselves in trouble. So I believe in keeping them employed, even if that means just mowing the yard of where they live at, cleaning the inside of the house. That's why the house rules, everybody's got to clean up. That's why this guy fixing the garbage disposal, that's not some company that I had to call. Those are my 2 tenants that are brainstorming together, and they fix my drain and the garbage disposal. Hello, somebody. So when I first started, right, I hired a lot of this outside help. That was very dumb of me. Today, most of the work that I have done is literally done right through the people that I'm already housing. Make sense? Okay, so thank y'all for the questions. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and I'll continue to knock these questions out. Make sure that, guys, that you put your questions in the chat. I'll be here probably for another about 15 minutes or so. I'll try to get you guys out of here about 7:30. But again, remember, we're discussing how to start your own housing program without the need for a license, staff, or owning the property, right? So if you have the vision of getting into real estate, but you thought you had to buy it, you don't. You can rent it or lease it and do the same thing God has already told you to do, which is house the homeless and care for people through social services. I'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, family? Have you ever imagined starting your own housing program? That's probably why you're here. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, like you're kind of getting right now, but in a more of a one-on-one setting, just you and I, that's our ILF Mastery Blueprint. There's a number that they're scrolling below on this screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to that phone number, my team is going to get you some information. So first of all, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you for moving at the speed of instruction. We look forward to working with you. And again, this is only for people that desire our one-on-one coaching, which is designed to watch you succeed from going from a zero to a hero when it comes to information and knowing how to implement this independent living facility model without any mistakes. That's most important. So again, our ILF Mastery Blueprint, guys, there's a scholarship that's available for it that'll slice the price in half, which is also a no-brainer. So again, if you've ever desired to start your own housing program, but you thought you needed a license, you don't. You thought you had to be a nurse, you don't. You thought you had to own the property, you don't. Consider our ILF Mastery Blueprint, where we are going to take you to success and let God use you in your community, housing the homeless and the displaced. Let's get back to the show. All right, we are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank y'all so much for being here. We super appreciate it. I'm just putting some stuff up real quick. And thank you guys for all the questions, Miss Patricia, Phyllis, everybody. I appreciate that. I love questions. I don't mind it. That's my whole job. I want you guys to know what this is and to understand it. The one-on-one coaching is for people that say, well, Derek, I want you in my back pocket. I want to be able to call you every day. I want to be able to, and that's kind of what Miss Patricia's done, right? She's just taking super advantage in helping y'all out, because what she's doing now, she could actually get all of this personally because she's now family to us. She's one of the last people that just purchased a package from us during that crazy sale. So Miss Patricia, again, welcome to the family. And I'm going to knock out every question that you put in this chat. Don't you worry. So the next question was, and let me remove that shared responsibility so that you guys can see my pretty face. All right. So your next question was, has your LLC ever worked in conjunction with your wife's nonprofit on any other nonprofit? Yes. So just this past Thanksgiving, just a couple of days ago, Shay partnered with several different restaurants and people that serve food from the standpoint, again, of being in a restaurant, not somebody that used their kitchen at their house, but literally partnership with people in the community. Azteca, big shout out to them. Big shout out to Metro Diner, who partnered with the Angela Denise Foundation. But guess who that fed? It fed my guys at Second Chance Housing. So my guys, some of my houses didn't have food. They didn't have a turkey. Their food stamp card was already used up for the month. So lucky for me, my wife has a nonprofit and does the same thing. So to answer your question, Miss Patricia, yes. And we done that as late as just this Wednesday. So, and my guys got so lucky, Azteca actually gave something hot and fresh Wednesday to eat, and then also gave them food the next day. So Metro Diner does this thing that's called warm to ready or something of that nature, the way they give it to you kind of cold and frozen, and it's already individually scooped out, and all you do is put it in the oven. So all of my tenants, thanks to the Angela Denise Foundation, had a hot Thanksgiving dinner. So big shout out to Shay, my beautiful wife, her board who approved of it, because Shay don't make all of these calls, right? She can be the brains of it, but remember, when you own a nonprofit, a lot of times your board has to also agree with it and be on board with that. So yes, so great question again, and yes, thanks to Shay, everybody got something to eat. Okay. Can you give a snippet of what you say to the landlord for leasing? I could, and I've done that before a lot of times on here, but it's also specific to your region. And a lot of other questions that I would have for you for that landlord in terms of where was it listed, all of that kind of stuff. But again, don't forget now that Purpose and Profit ebook and the role play that's live, that's only $97, guys. And again, that used to be only inside of the ILF Mastery Blueprint. Okay. So you had to have my whole coaching to get it. But today, that's actually in a book for $97. But watch this, because I answer all questions anyway, I'm going to do even better. I'm going to give you probably what you should be saying and some of the things that you shouldn't be saying. Watch this. One thing that I teach, and is my number one thing, is turn yourself into a business. So let's just say your name is Phyllis Davin. And if I'm saying that wrong, forgive me. Or we'll do PD. So we'll do Davin Solutions, Davin Enterprise, because if I'm saying it wrong, I'll show you both versions, or Davin Group. So essentially what we do, or we'll do PD solutions, PD enterprise, PD solutions, PD group, PD project. So the first thing is remove you, right? And now you create a business. My first mistake, Miss Phyllis, dummy me, and would led to a $40,000 lawsuit that's also in an ebook, right? Was trying to do this in Derek Forston's name. My name is Derek Forston. Doing this in Derek Forston's name was a dumb idea. Because guess what? Today, most people don't even know Derek. Guess who they know, though? Second Chance Housing. They know my assistant, Jess. That is such a blessing that today, what I prayed for 7 years ago, most people don't even know me. And I love it like that now. I'd rather they know Second Chance Housing. So when I'm talking to that landlord, Miss Phyllis, first of all, I'm not coming as Derek. I represent Second Chance Housing or Davin Solutions, PD Enterprise. So the first thing is removing me and ensuring the landlord that I'm a business, first of all, and not some lady that you just met today. Make sense? So to me, that was if you learn nothing else, I just told you what saved me from a 40,000, well, no, excuse me, that will save me now, because it happened already, a $40,000 lawsuit. Because when some guy lied on me, because remember, guys, a lawsuit don't have to be true. Guys, I've made the Channel 8 news. I've done this business every wrong way you can imagine. Other than being like the lady I saw doing it from the beginning of Rats and Roaches. I don't do that. My wrongness, Miss Phyllis, was ignorance. I didn't know what I was doing, Phyllis. God showed me a vision. Nobody wouldn't teach it. Off I go. That's just who I am. That's how my daddy was. My brother was like that. They gave it to me. So I don't need a lot of coaxing to get into something when I feel like God's behind it, the community needs it, and it can feed my family. Lord, have mercy. And again, if that's what you live by, that's why we teach it. So first step, remove Phyllis from the whole scenario and create PD solutions. So when I'm talking to the landlord, oh, and watch this, Phyllis, the other dumb thing that's in that book. I didn't have no insurance. You need a general liability policy. I'm giving y'all a free game that cost me a $40,000 lawsuit without the Johnny Cochran team. Dummy me. So now through my coaching, I give y'all the dadgum lady who cover us. Especially if she does the state in which you're in, and she's also going to give you the language in which to speak in. Our coaching is so powerful in terms of just what you shouldn't say and what you should say. I'll admit, probably 60% of my coaching is what you say in verbiage, what you say in writing in verbiage. Who are you talking to? The right people, the wrong people, and the verbiage. The other 40% is the how-to. Because right now, as a coach and a consultant, I take strategy calls every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. And most people, their problem is, for one, they don't know what to do like me 7 years ago, but they're talking to the wrong people, Phyllis, and they're saying the wrong thing. And that's what killed me. And it was, let me change my language, not killed me, but that's why I failed in the beginning. And one of those I just told you about led to a $40,000 lawsuit, Derek Forston. Who cares about Derek? Ain't nobody worried about Phyllis when we get into this. We care more about PD solutions. So under my coaching, because when I tell most people this, Phyllis, they go, Dornico is the latest example of that. Dornico been in this long enough now to where he's experiencing a lot of the things that I used to tell him that he's getting. Now I said, Dornico, and if you hear, bro, shout me out. I say, one day God is going to bless you. And you're not going to see it as a blessing, but God going to bless you one day, bro. Well, people don't know Dornico. They're going to know Fresh Start Housing. You're going to be in rooms with people, and you're going to be talking, you're going to be presenting, and they're going to have no clue that you're the Dornico guy that started all of this. But they will know and remember Fresh Start Housing, LLC. That's the name of his place in Dayton, Ohio. And Phyllis, that's all I'm telling you today. So there's a lot of ways to say it, but let me give you the mistakes and the dumb stuff that I did. And again, if you get that book, I give you word for word in different situations, right? But I'm telling you right now what caused the lawsuit and what you shouldn't say. Now that day you can be Phyllis in terms of your name. Hey, sir, my name is Phyllis, but I represent Davin Solutions. We have a program by the name of right? So I got over 630 videos, y'all, on this very topic. So my YouTube channel, subscribe to it. There isn't a question that you guys can ask that's not already in video format. So again, it's all over the place. And again, I literally just gave you what to say without saying it, right? So that's the verbiage that we're using. Language is a locator, right? And if you're using the wrong language, guys, that can cause you a lot of trouble, okay? All right, so back in the chat, and that's why, again, guys, get great coaching, right? Get good coaching, okay? Let me see. I'm going back in the chat. And also, just because today's Monday, if you just joined us, most of you guys knew about our crazy, stupid sale that we had the entire month of November. We got a lot of new people that's in here tonight. I just want to be nice, but also kind of respectful that you guys just found us. And I will extend any of those crazy sales, which everything that we had was half off. If you guys want any of that, I'll extend that and just call it a Cyber Monday sale. And because we go live on Tuesday nights as well, I'm going to extend that to Wednesday morning. So if there's anything that you wanted from us on that half off sale, that's the ILF Mastery Blueprint, the ILF Accelerator, and the ILF Do-It-Yourself version, I'll still honor that, guys, through Wednesday morning. So let me give the instruction right now if you're listening, because somebody going to miss it and say that I didn't give it. So for the DIY, that's the cheapest thing that we got and that a lot of people have loved, and it's only $9.97, right? $3 short of $1,000. But during that sale, I had it at like $4.97. That includes your website build out, the CRM system, the HRA business in a box, teaches you all of that. You still got access to the VA services, all the paperwork and documents you need to start your ILF. You get all of that. And also the MSI group coaching, I think, is in that. So we had a 5-week group coaching that was called MSI, Move at the Speed of Instruction. I literally recorded it. That's also a part of that package, guys. So people love that when they can't afford our one-on-one coaching. So again, through Wednesday morning, if that's something that you want in terms of our DIY, text the word WOW, WOW. We already have an automation that's set for that. It immediately sends you instruction. If you just follow it, you get that for $4.97, I think that is. The ILF Accelerator and the ILF Mastery Blueprint are almost the exact same. The only difference is with the ILF Accelerator, it's only 6 months. That's a 6-month program. Usually $3,000 up until Wednesday, you can get it for $1,500. Okay. The ILF Mastery Blueprint is everything that we have. One-on-one coaching, that's what everybody wants. And that's for life coaching, pretty much. That's not 6 months. You can stay with me as long as you're around trying to do it, right? That was $7,500 originally, $3,750 on sale. And if you text the word scholarship on that one, I'll actually even maybe go even a little lower on both the accelerator and the blueprint. So again, the new prices through Wednesday, the DIY $497, the accelerator $1,500, 6-month program, and the blueprint for life only $3,750. Okay. Text scholarship to get it at $3,750 or under. Text WOW to get that at that $497 plan, that one. And for the accelerator, after text the scholarship, just write accelerator so I know which one you wanted. Other than that, I'm going to go back to the chat. A lot of people kept asking about that. So let me go. And also, guys, if you missed the beginning of this, I gave 7 great tips from a biblical standpoint of the story of Noah's Ark. Make sure you guys go back and watch that. Okay. It was 1 through 7, with 6 and 7 being my most favorite. So I'm back in the chat. I'm almost to my closing time here. Let me make sure that I hit everything. Do you have age requirements? Yes, I do. Miss Phyllis, from age 18, you got to be an adult, to 118, which means no, I don't. You can be as old as you want to be. So you got to be an adult. So I jokingly tell people, if you 18 through 118, you can live in my place. But if you have a 119th birthday, we moving you somewhere else. Just joking about that. But yeah, so no age limit in terms of the big number, but you must be an adult. You can't live in my place at 16, 17, 15. We do not house children. Okay. Miss Phyllis, shout me out in the chat if you're still here for that answer. Let me see. Miss Patricia says, do you have any ILFs in a rural area without public transit? Now, me, I do not, but I coach people that do. So, and we'll talk about that during your training. So if your house is in a rural area, no problem. We also got ways to help you still. So no problem. In fact, Miss Patricia, let me know in the chat. Is your current place in a rural area, right? If it is, let me know in the chat. Have you ever said, no, I already answered that one. I answered that one. Ooh, this is my favorite, but I talk about this all the time, though. In fact, I talked about this today. Do you like one type of tenant over another? Yes, elderly adults, because they're just more mature. They're not looking for a party. They're not trying to try the next latest new drug to try. They're not sneaking women through my windows at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I like the elderly people. I like the military veterans. I also like people that have a job, that are very busy at their work, to where they're not at home at all much. So I house a guy right now that works 6 days a week. I never see him. Pays his rent on time. He's in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Love it. He just uses us for a sleeping point. Love it. He don't bother nobody. My other guys love him. Love it. So that answers that. Miss Patricia shot me out in the chat. Let me know if you're still here to answer, to have gotten that answer. Security cameras, I talked about that. I think I hit everything in the chat. Let me see. Never heard of mobile home. We'll look into that for sure. So yes, Phyllis. So let me give you some free coaching right now, Phyllis. Usually this will only be said in a setting where you have my coaching, but let me just give you this game. In the mobile home game, I only recommend doing it if you have a mobile home on its own land. So not per se in a mobile home park, unless you get permission from the park or the park knows what you're doing. But typically, the park isn't going to want you to do this shared living environment, because most of the time the parks want you to live in it, right, as you and your family. But if you find a park owner, and trust us, I coach this to a lot of people that do this, and you can get that relationship with them and they allow it, why not? Okay. But definitely not in a mobile home park per se if the relationship is not there. Makes sense, Miss Patricia and Miss Phyllis? Phyllis asked that about the mobile home. Okay, let me see if there's another one. Thank y'all so much again I love the questions too. So thank y'all for that. Let me see. And a lot of other stuff was just kind of just regular comments, I think. Lazy lead to poverty. That's not my portion. That's right, Miss Phyllis. Mine either. Laziness gets you nowhere. Speed is overrated. Yes, ma'am. I talked about that. The sloth and the tortoise, the cheetah and the deer all made that boat when Noah said, let's go. And they all are at different speeds. So speed don't matter. Just step number one was don't miss the boat. So again, if you guys follow step number one, it's hard to miss any of that other stuff. Because if you miss the boat, you're going to miss step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. But if you make step number one, step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're all possible now. Make sense? So step number one, again, guys, was don't miss the boat. So if you miss those steps, make sure you go back and get that. Let me see. Cling to the voice of God. Yes, ma'am. The ark was built by amateur, the Titanic. Yep, that was something that I said. I never been in real estate, but I'm loving it already. And Miss Patricia, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, people don't have to be in real estate to kind of, like, you don't have to have the experience. Do you want to help people? Yes. Do you love God? Yes. You want to make some money? Yes. You want to be the answer in your community for affordable housing? Yes. That's the only requirement. Okay. So looks like that's about it. I'm going to give you guys, let's see. I think I got one more commercial to play, and then I'm going to close out with one more thing, and then I'm going to get you guys out of here, man. And I definitely appreciate y'all tonight too. One more commercial, guys, and we'll be right back. If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. So let's wrap it up. The Tinsley family, you guys asked me again kind of what it looks like on the outside. Looking for you, I got a slide for everything that you ask. That brand new house that I showed you guys earlier. In fact, let me see if I can compare the two and show y'all. This is the house that we bought and rehabbed, y'all. Let me see if I can find a clean version of this house. Let me see. So this house that you see on the screen right now was completely rehabbed from the roof to the foundation. Everything was done over. And the new version is, I think I have it right here. Yeah, here it is. So this house you see on screen right now was originally a 4-bed, 2-bath. This house is now a 5-bed. Was it 3? Wait a minute, 1, 2. Yeah, 3-bath. So 5-3 now. And so this is what I'm talking about, that when you're in this long enough and God allows you to make impact and income, we're not going to go buy a bunch of Gucci bags and Fendi belts and a bunch of stuff. We're going to go and buy a house so that we can keep this income coming and let this house not go buy the Gucci bag. Make sense, you guys? So we're not going to spend that money in the beginning, right? So we're going to turn it into this. So brand new roof, brand new paint job, add an additional bedroom, and rehab the entire inside. So that's what it looks like. But this was it before that. That ugly doodle green, the roof that was about to cave in, and the inside that needed a bunch of work. So about $78,000 went into that place. And we talk about that on a different day of how we did that and leverage credit cards and blah, 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 blah. But that's what that is. But again, to the Tinsley family, you guys asked again, show me another example of a different model. Well, this is a 3-2. I just showed you a 4-2, a 4-3 turned into a 5-3, but now here's a small 3-2. And again, here's that mobile home. And don't be tripping because you see that trash in the front. That was trash day. So I also tell people what I just told you 2 minutes and 13 seconds ago. This is not in a park. This mobile home, he owns the land that it sits on. And forget the trash in the front because that was trash day, and forget that for sale sign because the guy bought it. And now does this because remember I told you, I don't care what the outside is, y'all. As long as the roof is not leaking, no rats, no roaches. Now, if you want to be bougie and go get a big one like a lot of us get, no problem. It can be a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house, or it can be an 8-bedroom, 5-bath like this house. The bigger the house, the bigger the impact. The bigger the impact, the bigger the income. Somebody type that into the chat. So with this model, the bigger your house, the bigger the impact and the bigger the income. Remember, guys, this is all about impact and income. Y'all just lucky enough that where you can make both of them actually at the same time. And again, I tell everybody, this is my favorite model. This is that 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2-bath. To me, this is my favorite because to me, this is most manageable, whether you're a rookie at this or a seasoned professional. And the 4-2 for me may mean 8 people, or it may mean 4 people in their own private room. Now, I'm going to tell you my favorite of what I've been doing lately, just me personally. I take this same 4-bed, 2-bath home. I only want 2 of those rooms to be private and the other 2 to be shared. So now I got 6 people. Because under me and my coaching, I'm going to tell you guys less people, less problems. That's why I love the model that Tia does. Tia don't do the shared living like most of us do. Tia does 1 person per room. And under my coaching, I'm going to tell you this. If it's 1 person per room, what are we fighting about? What are we arguing about? Why do we have disagreements if everybody got their own room, their own TV, their own setting? We should have no problems in that place. And that's why I like the private model as well. Because again, not saying that 2 people can't get along, but if everybody's got their own room, what in the heck are we fighting about? And again, as long as the inside looks like this or that mobile home, I don't care that that's a mobile home. Because guess what my plan is, y'all? I told y'all last week, and y'all, my new people, y'all gonna be the first people to hear one of my 2025 goals. That's what I want. I want a piece of land that's already sewaged or plumbed for mobile homes, and I want 8 to 15 mobile homes on it. 8 to 10-ish, 8 to 15 maybe. And I want mobile homes. And I want the one that costs $3,000, $2,000, $1,500 free. Because I got somebody that can rehab them all. So my goal is to get a plot of land. I want to put 8 to 15 mobile homes on it. And I don't want to pay more than probably $5,000 for any of them. The goal is $3,000 and under, and to rehab them all. And again, like I told you earlier, no rush. Don't have to all be done in 2025. If I just get the land and the raggedy mobile homes, and that's all I did the whole of next year, I would be so satisfied with that. Because the snail and the cheetah both made the boat. Neither one got left, so speed don't matter. Make sense, everybody? And again, this is what the inside looks like. So for the Tinsley family, you guys asked, I showed you. Right? So that's my vision. For 2025, I want some mobile homes, y'all. Some cheap ones too, that I can put money into. I'm not worried about appreciation. I'm not playing that game with this model. That game is all about cash flow. Now, the property I buy in terms of brick and mortar houses, that's a cash flow game and appreciation. I want the appreciation. But with mobile homes, I already understand that I'm not going to get that. But if I get 3-bed, 2-bath mobile homes and give everybody their own private room, which is kind of my plan. I don't even want 2 people per room, Tia. I want everybody in their own room in this model. No share at all. Can you imagine the cash flow when I'm buying these places for $3,000, $5,000, and I own the land already, whether it's got a mortgage on it or not? That's one of my plans. And in January, don't do it now, but our first room in January, we're going to release some goals. Because a lot of you guys that's been following us for a long time, y'all know that 2024 was the first year ever. Let me repeat that slowly. 2024 was the first year ever that I did not make any goals. There was no resolutions. I can take a picture of my whiteboard right now if you think I'm lying. And it says goals for 2024 and plans. And as I was writing that, I heard clear as day, Derek, let my will be done. None of your stuff this year. Huh? God, don't make no goals. A man without a plan plans to fail. I heard as clear as day. And I'm telling y'all to do this. As clear as day. January of last year, I can take a picture of my board right now and show you. It says, let God's will be done. ... None of my plans, none of my ideas. Oh, but this year, I'm going to load that board up because I didn't get that this year. So that's what I meant 30 minutes ago when I told y'all, pray to be sensitive to what God is telling you. And I'm going to tell y'all right now here without going super deep into it, the way that my year ended up, there was no way that I could have got any of my goals that Derek wanted to get done anyway. Guys, I'll admit this year was hell for us in a lot of different ways. A lot of loss, physical loss, spiritual loss. Guys, there was everything you can imagine. Financial, every aspect of our lives was touched in 2020. And to be quite frank, and even though God is good, 2023 wasn't that great either. If you want to be real. Don't put in the chat, don't raise your hand, but how many of you, just raise your hand in your own house, don't put nothing in the chat, that 2024 was rough. Guys, I lost my brother this year. Financial loss, human loss, spiritually. There was a lot of things that were lost this year. Don't get it twisted. God was good to us. But in the realm of living God's best, how they say, I'm living my best life. Guys, I'll say it right now. I ain't ashamed to say it because God can hear me. I did not live God's best this year. But the devil is a liar because all that turns around in 2025 because it's already getting that way now. The month of December will be a big month for a lot of you all. And it's going to catapult you into January. So get ready for it. Go ahead and celebrate it. 2024 was rough for a lot of people, Miss Phyllis. Okay? You don't have to tell me. I'm no prophet. I can't see the future. I just know it. Naturally, in the natural, 23 and 24 was rough for a lot of people, and a lot of y'all can't wait to say bon voyage to this last year. I know it. Make sense? But 2025 will be the year for a bunch of us to get into real estate and to do what God has truly called us to do, which is to help his people. A lot of people will be struggling with real estate and a place to live in 2025. Your blessing is on the other end of that. I truly believe. Now, if you believe that, put a 1 in the chat. Do respond to that. If you believe that you can honestly be the change in your city by doing what God has already put on your heart, put a number 1 in the chat. Through real estate, through shared housing. Okay? So again, I thank you all. And as usual, I hope that we said something that has changed your mind or the trajectory of where you're trying to go or what you're trying to do. As we always say, move at the speed of instruction, move at the speed of revelation. As I said today, a lot of you guys kind of got a little bit of a revelation. You got some instruction today. And first step is watching our webinar that's scrolling at the bottom of that screen right now. If you just text the phrase more info, MOREINFO to 407-326-0086. That's how you get the webinar. And then my team is going to see it through our analytics, and they're going to set you up with a call with me. They're probably going to text you, email you, or call you, say, hey, we see that you watched our webinar. What day you want to talk to Derek? Now, obviously, I would love it if you all do like Phyllis did and Miss Patricia and Qatar. Y'all ask questions right here. That way everybody can hear it and we learn together. But if you desire our coaching, especially that, and you just got a couple questions before you tie that knot, that's what the phone call is for essentially. And to get any misunderstanding, kind of like, Derek, you said this. What did you mean by that? I didn't want to ask him to lie because I didn't want to seem crazy. But what did you mean by that? By all means, take that phone call. But the first step, people ask that all the time. Well, Derek, what's the first step of getting on the phone with you, Derek? Watching the webinar. Can't talk to me without watching that, because most of the stuff that you're going to ask me is already in the webinar. Now we take your call to another level. Because if you get on the phone and ask me 10 questions that's already in the webinar, you're going to waste your time and mine. Because now your next call costs you money, right? The first call is free. That's on me. Discovery call is on me. But watch that first. And now if you're real smart, you watch the webinar and a bunch of the YouTube stuff. That way, a lot of the things that you would ask me. Now, no knock on Miss Patricia, because she's family now. And she's going to get all of that attention Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 from me, because I'm her family now. But every question she asked in that chat, that's somewhere in a video already. Now, some people say, well, Dick, I don't want to sift through 600 videos. Well, that's why people get the coaching too. They don't want to do that. They just say, Derek, I know you got this in on a tape, but how you do this? I give it right to them because they now have the coaching. So again, if you just joined us, don't forget, I'm extending our Black Friday sale through Wednesday morning. And my team, if you can hear me or if you guys see this on the replay, Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. sharp, all of that stuff is dead. You can kill it, you can end it, but I'm extending in terms of a Cyber Monday. And just because we usually go live on a Tuesday, I'll go all the way through Tuesday. But by 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, if you haven't cashed in, everything's just regular price, right? And which is still a no-brainer, because we make sure that our prices are always like crazily low and we give a lot of value. It's just that when we do a sale like we're doing now, it's stupid crazy. You almost be doing yourself a disservice by not getting it at the half price, right? So DIY is only $497, the accelerator is only $1,500, and the blueprint is only $37.50. So again, those are the sale prices for that stuff. But on Wednesday at 10 a.m., all that goes back to regular price. Okay. Let's see. And that's it. I think I'm done. I'm gonna go through this chat one more time, and I nailed it in under 2 hours today. So I'm happy about that. Somebody said, Phyllis said, do you have locks on doors? Yes. Got a video on that. So Miss Phyllis, we don't do digital physical like keys. We do digital locks now, because your tenant's gonna lose the key every 5 days, right? Ask me how I know. So through my coaching, we advise you guys to get the digital door lock, the one that has a Wi-Fi enabled. So just in case if you take a trip to Jamaica, Miss Phyllis, and you kicked up and you relaxing and sipping pina coladas with you and your family, but a case manager called you for a referral, your case manager can walk right in that place with the code you give the case manager. So not only do my tenants have the code, I give the case manager the door code as well. Okay, so that's a gem. They got a video for that. Let me see. We answered that one. Mr. Patricia says, fabulous. Let's God will be done. That's what I told him. I said, let your will be done. But this year, I got a bunch of goals and plans, Qatar. You ought to see my list this year. But at the top, because of course I want more real estate, right? Because like right now, I need another house. Like I'm basically full. When I get to like 1 or 2 beds in any house, to me, I'm full, right? Because at any time that bed can be gone and you need the next one. So through my coaching, I teach you guys, when you get to like that 1 or 2 beds away from being full, you should already be looking for your next property. Okay. Brown family, you guys asked that. The Davis family, you guys asked that, right? That's when you guys should be looking. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, this is the last thing that I want to say. I've said it already. Oh, and this is just for the new people, and I'm a breeze by this because I talked about this just the other day. This is when not David, but the Davis family asked about what else can I add. I literally talked about this for 35 minutes just the other day. My wife has a nonprofit and literally doing something this Saturday that's very similar to this. We do this once or twice a year for our women, sometimes the men, where we'll bring in a service. So this is what you can add to your housing once you master the art of housing people. When you want to do good, so makeup, hair, nails, and pedicures, manicures, spoken word. That's me getting my massage that same day. Of course, I had to get one too, right? So can you imagine, like some of y'all women get y'all hair and nails done all the time. Can you imagine never being able to really get that done and then somebody pours into you? That's what we do, and that's our give back. And that's the way that we also show the love of God in us, right? Through good deeds like that. So I think this coming Saturday, I think the women have a spa day. I think they're doing hair. I think they're doing a photo shoot this year. And that's what's different. We've never done the photo shoot. So we're going to do this whole makeup thing. And I think the people that are coming are bringing like tops for all the women to wear different shirts and jackets. And they're going to do headshots. So they don't need like pants. And I mean, everybody's going to be dressed. You get what I'm saying. But I think they're going to bring the women like real fancy tops. They're also going to bring another woman that's going to do makeup, and everybody's getting a photo shoot. So that's going to be real nice. She's going to take a lot of pictures, and y'all know if they allow me, I'm going to blur it everywhere. Okay. So that ends that. And then again, guys, scan that to watch that webinar that I keep talking about. So if you just join us and you haven't texted the phrase more info, you can also scan that. That leads you to that webinar. Okay. And as we always say, make sure that you guys are moving at the speed of instruction. Of course, that's another slide that I'm not going to go into right now. But remember, guys, move at the speed of instruction, because, again, procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you guys more time for something he's already told you to do. Okay? God is just genius and nice enough that he merged me and you together now. So you guys found us, your family now. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow and be nosy on Instagram and Facebook at Derek Forston, but also at Forston Consultants, right? And then again, move at the speed of instruction. I said that about 10 times. Move at the speed of revelation. But also, this is the only thing that we ask from y'all, man. If you guys can give us a 5-star Google review, if you appreciated this session, this information, if we opened your eyes to something, if it's something that you and your family will be able to do and carry on to generation to generation, if we gave you new ideas or a different perspective, we would super appreciate if you would give us a 5-star Google review. In fact, if you desire our coaching at that half off, this is one of the requirements anyway. Okay, so to get that scholarship to be half off, they're going to ask you for a Google review. And then if you do a video review, that'll usually knock an additional $150 to $250 off whatever you want. Now, that we don't usually say out loud. That's usually on a phone call. But I'll tell you now, whatever you guys want, if you do the Google review, that's what's going to get it. But if you do a video review, and it can be as short as 10 seconds, that'll also knock off another $250 off for any product that you actually wanted. Okay. So other than that, man, you guys be great. Join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Because if nothing happens or we don't get crazy busy, we usually go live every Tuesday as well. Think of any questions that you also may have, because you can bring those tomorrow, right? We love questions. And even if we carry it over to the next session, we'll be able to do that for you. So other than that, man, I'm going to pray us out of here, and then you guys be great. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to God's power that worketh in us. Father God, thank you so much for the seed that was sown tonight. Thank you for the ability to give what you just gave me. And Father God, by your instruction and by your will and by your way, allow these people to do what you've already put on their heart. And God, let not any devil in hell stop it. So tonight, I ask for the mind of Christ for these people and an able body to do so. Because God, is hard to do your will without the able body and the mind of Christ. So today, these people are here from the top of their head to the soles of their feet, and there's nothing wrong with any of them. And they will live out all the days of their life and do what you've called them to do. Father God, I ask that you will release every resource of real estate, resources and case managers and social workers. And Father God, already line them up with the right people that you want them to house. God, keep these people away from the knuckleheads and only give them the great people that are praying and crying to you every night for a safe place to live. Those are the people, God, that I want you to match them up with. And again, God, even though those other people need help too, God, keep us away from the knucklehead, the people that want to cause us problems and not pay rent. God, drive those people away from us. But the guy and the lady that's praying every night for a safe place to live and begging you for it, God, bring those people because they're asking to change their life. So God, allow us to be a good steward of what you're giving us and allow us to help change their life through what you have given us, which is the real estate and the will to do it. So Father God, we thank you in advance. We give you all glory, all honor, and all praise. And again, the devil is under these people's feet. Everybody that's listening, the devil is under your feet, has no place in your life or your business. And again, you will succeed in Jesus' name. And again, now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to God's power that worketh in us. You guys be great, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, David, did you know that you can start your own housing program and it doesn't require you for you to own the property and you do not need a license? So how in the world would you do that? I was always told that you had to own the property and that there was always some kind of special license that you had to get from your city to do this. People always told me that there was lots of red tape to jump through. So you mean to tell me these are also not group homes? It's actually simple. They're called independent living facilities, and Forster Consultants actually created it. They hold the trademark for it. So I follow them religiously on Instagram at Forster Consultants as well as Facebook. And every Monday night at 6 p.m., they actually go live on YouTube at Forster Consultants, and I follow them there as well. So you mean to tell me my dream of becoming this housing provider that I've always dreamt of is closer than I realize? And again, you're telling me I don't need a license and I don't have to own the property. Absolutely. You do not have to own the property. You don't have to be a nurse. You don't have to be a CNA, and you can get started as soon as tomorrow. Click the link below for more information.
Hey, what's going on, family? Are you somebody that needs some help in your life or your business? Are you somebody that has a lot of ideas, but you can't quite get them out? You probably need a virtual assistant, guys. And again, at $5 an hour, that's an absolute cheat code for you, your life, your family, and your business. Because oftentimes these virtual assistants, guys, can do a lot of what we can't. And they often come with a bachelor or a master's degree. So when it comes to the educational side of it, guys, these VAs are, again, the cheat code to everything that you're probably looking for. Most of you guys have a full-time job, so it's hard to kind of implement a lot of the ideas that God is giving you or the ideas that are in your heart. You should be visiting va101.co to get a virtual assistant that can help you in your life and your business and get some of these ideas out of your brain onto paper and then to implementation. One more time, visit va101.co, not .com, but va101.co, and get a virtual assistant, guys, for $5 an hour. It's the cheat code, and it'll be the best decision that you ever made. I promise. Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know really quick, everything that you're listening to right now, I actually have it in a more structured way in a webinar. So when you guys get done here, go to forsterconsultants.com, click the tab that says webinars, and there's 2 webinars there. One is for you to be the actual ILF operator, meaning that you want to do it. And then the other one is the HRA. That stands for Housing Referral Agency, where you're able to take people from homeless to hopeful, and you actually don't need the real estate. It stands for a Housing Referral Agency, and we call it a business in a box. But definitely go to forsterconsultants.com, watch both of those webinars, then set up a free strategy call with me and my team, and let's see how we can get you started. Back to the show. Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know, there are 4 different ways to get into what we do. The first way is absolutely free by joining us every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday right here on our YouTube channel. Monday and Tuesdays are at 6 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays are at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's the free way. The next way is our ILF Mastery Blueprint, which is our one-on-one coaching, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute, but that's our hand-holding coaching, as we would call it. We walk you step by step, and it's called the ILF Mastery Blueprint. The next version of how to get into what we do is called the ILF Accelerator. That's a 6-month program for people that may not need the one-on-one coaching for an extended amount of time. And then the very last one is called our do-it-yourself version, where we give you all the material, all the content, and everything that you need to get started, and you can do it at your own pace, and it's called our do-it-yourself version.
One Atlanta city councilman says the city's homeless population seems to have grown and become more aggressive, and he points to what he calls deplorable behavior at the world's busiest airport.